Hi y'all, it's Fastfox90 and I'm here today to give you my impressions, my very loose impressions, just on the top of the head, thoughts and opinions about Black Ops 4 new game mode, which is pretty much exactly like PUBG and Fortnite, the Battle Royale mode, Blackout. And I'm very happy that Black Ops decided to do something very ambitious. I feel like Treyarch always kind of does that, where they kind of take what's being popular around the time and kind of flesh it out into their own kind of shtick and basically make it something very enjoyable. And I feel like they usually do an overall good job of knowing what a game mode should feel like, should play like, to make it fun and balanced, and but still very Black Ops Treyarch COD like. I think they did it with Black Ops 3 with all the movement and all the wall running. I think when that was all the rage, Black Ops and Treyarch came in and said, "Hey, this is how it's supposed to be done." Where it is enjoyable but not taken away from the Call of Duty shooter-like experience, because I felt like Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, they were way too gung-ho, too jumpy, and too wall-runny, and too everywhere to really focus on the gunplay, and it kind of took away from the gunplay. But I think Black Ops came in, Black Ops 3 came in and kind of showed like, hey, you can still have wall running and all that kind of exoskeleton stuff and still have a fun gunplay. Because I don't really like the exoskeleton kind of jumping, high crazy jumping and wall running, but I felt like Black Ops 3 did a really good job of making it part of the game and not too distracting or too unfair in terms of like skill or whatnot for everyone to still play with. And I really loved Black Ops 3. It's probably one of my favorite Call of Duty games besides maybe Modern Warfare 3. So I think they kind of did the same thing with Blackout in that sense. I think they kind of took the Battle Royale mode and made it their own, and kind of made it very playable and enjoyable. Because I've played PUBG and I've played Fortnite a lot, and out of those three, I definitely, from just the beta impressions, I definitely think Black Ops 4 Blackout beats them all in terms of just gameplay, fun, like it for it to be fun and enjoyable game experience, but also challenging, and kind of that sensation of, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. I can't believe I won. And in this gameplay, you're gonna see, I think maybe like one of my two ever wins in the beta of Blackout. I've had a lot of top tens, a lot of top fives, and whatnot, but this was one of my first ever kind of wins with teammates. I think my other one was in solos. So, and it's kind of weird that solos is, for me, a lot easier than team-based battle royale. In Fortnite, if you were with a four-man squad, it was deemed a lot easier to win. And I had a lot of wins in the squad mode. But in squad modes in this, I was having so much more of a difficult time winning. I felt like half the time I was getting knocked out. Me and my team were getting knocked out in the first runaround. I don't know what that is too. That's just how it kind of happened. So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what I've noticed. And that solos I was doing a lot better. I think mostly because Blackout and Call of Duty was a lot more Call of Duty esque. And more reliant on, say, gun gameplay than, say, building gameplay like in Fortnite. And I was very bad at the the building aspect in Fortnite, and I think that's why I kind of got tired of it, because I was just like, I can't handle these Fortnite players in the building. It seemed like the way to win was just to build than to have better shooting skills. And especially in Fortnite, where like they keep on changing the guns and the balancing, and it just, everything was changing, like where submachine guns were the best, and now then it was the shotgun, and then the ARs, and then the snipers. It keeps on switching, and I hate when a game keeps on changing the format of their game mode and their gameplay experience. It seems like Fortnite never knew how to actually make a good battle royale game in terms of the gun mechanics, and that was just kind of just annoying for me. I think Blackout has a very good foundation. I never really felt that, like, say, the SMGs were so overpowered in my gunplay experience. It seemed a lot more distance focused and taking behind cover and being sneaky, which I think, in terms of a battle royale game, that's what you want. I don't think ever in a Hunger Game experience you're going to see someone crafting ramps and building all over the place to build up and have the higher elevation with all their builds very quickly and just jump on you with a shotgun and be amazing. I don't think that's very realistic. I felt like Blackout definitely catered to like how I felt like a battle royale experience should be like, kind of like PUBG, but I think Blackout did a lot better job of fleshing and making fleshing it out and making it playable. I felt like PUBG was unplayable at some during sometimes. And I know, I mean, there's definitely some critical aspects that I want to point out. One is the graphics. And towards the end of the beta, the beginning of the beta was very, very bad, the graphics. I was like, ooh, I don't know. But towards the end of the beta, it looked really good. I didn't really have any complaints. I don't know if they made it better in the middle of the beta with an update, or or I was just kind of getting used to it. And I think one thing maybe it was why I was getting used to it is because the connection was just so good. I hope I wouldn't even mind if the multiplayer they dumbed down the graphics to this level, so that if it made it to where the connection was that good, because sometimes in the multiplayer beta there was some lag, but not too terrible. But I definitely noticed some lag where I was getting a little frustrated at times. Well, in this, I barely experienced any lag. I was actually shocked. I was a little worried from the multiplayer beta that if the multiplayer beta was going to be sometimes this laggy, I was afraid that the Blackout beta was just going to be a choppy mess. But it wasn't. It was actually very good, and I think that was one of the biggest pluses from what I saw from this game mode, was that it was very playable. It was I had no problem engaging with enemies from afar, from close up, and that was kind of like my priority number one thing in this game mode when I was playing it and testing it out, was how playable this was. And it was very playable, and just the amount of variety in it had, and the kind of little Easter eggs, kind of like the mystery box. It was just so well done. I think they definitely took their time, and they cared for kind of, making this game mode a worthy competitor to, like, say, Fortnite and PUBG. I think it is better than both of them, and they added their own Treyarch flavor, which I really appreciated. I was kind of worried that they were just going to make it a separate game mode, but I loved how they inserted some of the multiplayer mechanics, like the grappling hook and the barricade and the razor wire and the sensor door. I loved how they put components into the multiplayer into the Blackout mode, and I thought they just did a really good job. I can definitely see how they changed the multiplayer to kind of have a symbiotic relationship with the Blackout. The reason why they changed probably the multiplayer healing to a pressable thing, was because in Blackout, to heal you have to actually press an item to heal, instead of some automatic regenerative capability like in previous Call of Duty games. So I think both multiplayer and Blackout kind of have a relationship with each other where it all just makes sense. And they definitely put a lot of thought into this symbiotic relationship of that there's a seamless transition into playing Blackout mode and to playing multiplayer, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, they definitely put a lot of thought into this game mode. and I think it definitely shows. And I had a lot of fun with it. I loved how they put past Call of Duty maps. The one of the two biggest things is that I hope they add more spots. I loved the big spots, how they were just pretty much old Call of Duty maps, and they felt big and they felt um, like they were good points of interest. They were very good um, uh, uh, main points where people would probably go heavy to. And I think the loot was all there. I think the balance in the loot was all good. Only I wish there was a lot more smaller areas to go to, or at least in those smaller areas have more workable loot. Because I felt like a lot of the smaller areas didn't have good go-to loot, so it kind of forced you to go to those bigger areas. And then sometimes the one thing I liked about Fortnite was that you could go to smaller areas, especially if you're a noob like me, and kind of set yourself up with like a different type of gameplay where you're kind of being a little bit more cautious. And I think Blackout can benefit from increasing kind of just like the spawn loot. I know that this is just the beta, and they said already that there's going to be more guns added and more loot and whatnot. I just hope that there's more smaller areas where they still seem like a good go-to. Because definitely seem the bigger areas were the places to go, and that could be troublesome because everyone's going to go to those bigger areas. The map size was pretty good. I didn't really have a complaint on the map size. I know it's a lot smaller than, say, Fortnite, but I would definitely say Fortnite sometimes felt a little bit too big, where all you're doing is running. So I felt like the map size was good. If anything, maybe make the vehicles movement a little bit slower, because I felt like they were way too powerful, the vehicles, and I've always had a thing against vehicles being too powerful, and being too able to move you around. I've always liked kind of like the boots on the ground, so to speak. And I feel like they weren't too powerful. I just feel like maybe just the speed of them should be a little bit slower, so it'll take you a lot longer to get to point to point. I felt like having a vehicle was a bigger advantage than it should have been. Like in this gameplay, the vehicle was always used, especially if I had the helicopter. Oh my gosh, you're done so. Another thing was I know they've already addressed this, that they're trying to work on it, and I do. It's just kind of like the item inventory management. It was god awful. I think everyone, including their mothers that just watched their kid play, could see that the inventory system was just terrible. And I really hope they don't go the route of just like some stupid, silly emotes. Like the reason why they're doing it this way is because they want to save certain buttons for like emotes or whatnot. I definitely think maybe a better system would be, say, the meds that are on the left hand side. Maybe you can do like, if you do a simple tap on the left D-pad button, that it'd be a quick switch to the next one available on your meds. Or maybe if you hold it down, it'll do like a quick a quick kind of jump to that inventory, and so you can then navigate which one you want to switch to. But like a tap, and then a tap system to to quickly switch to the next item, to the meds, and also to the right hand side. So maybe down is a quick change of the grenades, and then maybe a quick tap on the right D-pad is a quick change of the equipment, something like that. And then if you want to actually go to that item or to your perks, or say something, you would hold it down instead of like having to scroll through all the stuff. I think that system would be definitely better, because I know I would just kind of like just tap very quickly while I'm running to switch to the next one. I think that would be an easier thing. I think the number of items are pretty fine. I heard somewhere that they're reducing the number of items that you can hold, but I don't think so. I think the items were definitely spot on. I like to have more items. I have a compulsion to take everything. I think it's from my Elder Scrolls days of having to loot everything and always being over encumbered to definitely feel the value of what I'm taking. So I like the number of loot, and I like the idea of a backpack. And if anything, I just hope that they kind of switched, like I said, the overall like quick change items, maybe with a quick tap of the left, down, or right on the D-pad. I think that would definitely help the situation, especially if like left is for meds, down is for perks, and right is for like equipment or grenades or whatever. And then if you actually want to, you can go in and try to change it around. I didn't really have that big of an issue with the level 3 armor and the level 2 armor. If anything, I think the spawn rate should be different. I heard someone saying that they would rather have it where like a level 3 armor was a kind of like a super special drop from like maybe a care package. I like that idea. I have no problems with that idea. I think that'd be a cool idea. But I didn't really have a super issue. Maybe if anything, an attachment drop that would be AP rounds. I'm surprised that they didn't do that. Maybe it will be in the final game, but I think that would be kind of a cool thing. Or maybe that could be like a kind of like that one specialist where he drops down the ammo. Maybe that could be a special equipment thing, like kind of like the barricade or the grappling gun, where you drop down the ammo box and it comes with AP rounds. I think that'd be a kind of a cool idea, where you only have maybe like one clip of AP rounds to use, and then that could help you with certain fights against level 3 armor. I'm not saying it should completely destroy the armor or get past that, but maybe like give you a little extra boost. I think that'd be a sick addition. And the one final piece of note is just the circle. I love the little callback with the numbers to Black Ops, but I feel like the circle can. I don't know. I felt like it was too quick, and I felt like I was always on the move. I definitely I'm a little bit of a camper, so I'm a little biased, but I definitely think that the circle should be a little slower, or I definitely think the circle should be a little slower, or just the time that it takes before it starts moving again be a slower. Just because I definitely like staying at one place for a little time, just so you have time to engage with other enemies. I felt like half the time the engagements were because I was running to the next circle and I just saw another team running to the next circle. So I definitely hope there's more moments where like this, where you're in an engagement where it feels like a multiplayer map. But I think those are the primary concerns. It's just the circle movement. I hope it's a little slower. I hope the vehicles are a little bit slower. I hope there's a little bit more, and I hope that there's just some more tinier spots. And I hope that there's just a little change in the inventory system, which I'm sure everyone in their, like I said, their mother are talking about, and they've already said that they're trying to work on it. But I think my suggestion would definitely be the way to go. So hopefully, for some reason, they listen and use my strategy or use my tips. But that's pretty much it. Overall, I love the Blackout experience. I had a lot of fun. I think there's some obvious tweaks and balances that they need to do just to make it a fully developed Black Ops Battle Royale experience, like I've said, especially with hang gliding on the map. Maybe there can be an indication where, like, hey, you can hang glide off of here. Again, but those are just little things that don't really diminish the overall experience of the gameplay experience, and that's what it's important to me, is the overall fun gameplay experience based off the balancing and kind of just the navigation part, because I think that's what the battle royale game is like, is the navigating part with your teammates, and then also the gun gameplay. And I think both Blackout excelled in that area, and I honestly would give it probably around an 8.5 as well, similar to the multiplayer. I think it's just overall good, and I'm really excited to play. All my friends and I are super excited. We're talking about it. We can't wait to play it, and I don't know. I can't wait to show more videos about it. Hopefully, I get more wins like this one, because it was super fun. And but that's all I got. Leave a comment on what you think needs to be changed, or what you want added or removed. What was your favorite part of the beta, and what would you like to see from me next? But anyways, that's pretty much all I got. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hopefully, you learned something, and I hope to see you in the next video. And have a good morning, and if I don't see you later in the day, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye, y'all.